Hey, good morning. Just having a cup of coffee here, just checking in. This will be a quick, short one. Um, the Lord gave me eyes to see and ears to hear. I read the Bible in a whole different light, illuminated, let's say. Eyes to see and ears to hear. Started reading it and realized that it was the religious people that killed Jesus, what they're supposed to. It's the religious people who are still killing them through blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. And it was a lot to take in. And we gain followers and we lose a lot of followers because of the truths, because people don't want to admit that we blaspheme the Holy Spirit. And says you're subject to death. And a lot of people say it's unpardonable. Well, everybody's on their way to hell to begin with, because John 3:18, Jesus sent the lifeboat. Jesus sent the God sent the Jesus to bring us into the kingdom and out of this world. So realizing that, even though we had one of the best fellowships that I have seen back in the day, that Satan could come in and crush it in a minute, which he crushed it in about 4 weeks. I was reading a book about spiritual warfare, Derek Prince, and they crushed the prayer meeting, or they don't have a prayer meeting, or so they didn't have a prayer meeting, so I started a prayer meeting. So then, as time went on, there was only three or four of us, and then two families, and then eventually there's a whole congregation showed up. So the devil got mad because we were praying, and when you pray, which really means ask questions, not just ask for blessings. So, Lord, why is this guy going through the trial? Why is this guy sick? Why is this guy not healed? And Jesus will give you a bunch of reasons, and in order to counsel him, pastoral counseling, which is what I went to school for. And it was an Assembly of God. So it's pretty awake. Okay. So it was a shock to find out that nobody would read the books that we had. Nobody would read the Bible. Nobody wanted to go to prayer meeting and actually pray. Nobody really wanted to seek the Lord. Nobody wanted to ask questions. And, they used to say, inquiring minds would like to know, but they're talking about the crazy Inquirer paper. But on a real note, inquiring minds would like to know, Lord, what about this? Lord, what about that? And then that started our two-way conversation to bring me into the light and out of the darkness. Now, I didn't realize everything looked good, smelled good. Like I said, the fellowship, which they called a church, which is not a church because we are the church. We were doing a lot of stuff right, but there's some things we were doing wrong, and they didn't have a prayer meeting. Like I said, I started a prayer meeting, then the devil came in and crushed the prayer meeting and crushed the church. And the church boiled down to 10%. And the people that were still there, half of the 10%, which is like 12 people, six of them were witches. Six of them were witches. And they've been at that place for a long time. And they controlled it for a long time, Jezebels. So lo and behold, the beast systems. So if you're awake, you know what I'm talking about. So let's go back to Daniel, where the kingdoms all get crushed. The giant statue, which is made up of all the kingdoms of the world, the 10 kingdoms and the 7 horns, all have to be crushed. So in a New York minute, if you crushed every place that claims they're a church, they claim it in name only, because it's not of God. We are the church. If God crushed them all, like evaporated them, dissipated them, raptured them, whatever, all these churches and all the government, this planet would literally turn back into the Garden of Eden really quickly. And that is Jesus' goal. He purchased everything and everybody back 2,000 years ago. Then it says that he was slain before the foundations of the earth. So that means he sent a ripple in time all the way back. Like I told you, time went counterclockwise, and then Jesus reset time so it would go forward. So the farther you go back in time, the bigger the number. It was going counterclockwise, counter to God. And Jesus had to split time. That's why today's date and timestamp is what it is. So If everything gets reset, and that's Jesus' goal, he's been gone a little over 2 spiritual days. This is the third day. 1,000 years is about a day. 1,000 years on earth is about a day in heaven. So we're in the third day now. What happens on the third day is resurrection day, healing day, blessings day, and thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. And problem is we the people block it because of lack of understanding, lack of revelation, lack of the truth, because the liars have taken possession. They don't really own it. They took possession of it. Back in chapter 3, the fallen angels took possession of it and robbed and pillaged and controlled ever since then. So, so we lose a lot of subscribers because some of them are in the medical, the sorceries, and they can't handle that because if they work there. But the truth is the truth, okay? Sorry about that. I have to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God. So, and then you church people, if anybody you are listening, if you call it a fellowship and you try to do right by it, that's fine. But there's just because it's turned into a corporation without God, it's like a machine instead of relationship. And the bigger the machine, the less God can do anything, because you can turn the machine on and go home. So laugh instead of cry, because I went through this and went to different places and talked to different ministers and talked to different prophets, apostles, evangelists, pastors, teachers, and they don't want you messing up their kingdom. So hey, wake up, please. God bless you. We'll talk again.